Welcome back, miscreants. On today's episode of Whatever Sam Happens to Be Up To, we're going to replace the handle on this axe that I found at an antique mall. Unlike most old used axes that I find, it hasn't been ground down to almost nothing or given a weird grind that's cattywampus or anything. So because it had a good head, I picked it up, but it's slipping off the handle, and the wedge, in fact, is proud of the top of the handle there. So I'm hoping that that makes it easy to get off of the old handle. It's also wrapped with tape. Looks like it's probably cracked and split, who knows. Stay tuned. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reach in here with some pliers and I'm going to try to pull this wedge out. Oh, well, that came out pretty easy. So now let's try and tap this off of here. All right, now that came off of there fairly easy. I think I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of this peened over material on the bench grinder before we go any further. There we go. That way it doesn't have such a sharp edge that will catch on my fingers. Now this new axe handle came with a new wood wedge, which is nice, but it also came with a really disgusting finish. So I'm gonna just lightly sand that. I might wind up stripping that finish completely off eventually, but for now I just want to give it a light sanding so it's not so awful to touch. So I'm just gonna take some 100 grit and give it a good sanding here. Oh yeah, that's already so much better. So this doesn't fit. Obviously this comes larger than it should be. That allows us to take this down slowly to get a really nice snug fit. So I'm going to work on that with some files and maybe a draw knife and see what we can come up with. Now the grain on that is just running in a really bad way, so I think I'm going to have to use a rasp or something abrasive to work on that rather than the draw knife. This is kind of a slow and tedious process, but I want to go slow so that I don't take off too much and lose my snug fit. So I've been working on just the end a little bit here, just to where I can get that started on there. And now I'm going to try to extend that profile that I have on the end down, and then just test fit every now and then. And when we wiggle that on there, it'll leave a little smooth mark. We can see all the high spots and work our way down the handle. So as I'm working on this, every so often I test fit it, and where it scrapes will indicate where you need to work more. Now to test fit this, I'm just going to slide it in there, give it a little wiggle until it's good and snug. Then I'm going to grab a block of wood here, and I'm just going to strike this end of the handle here. And then I'm just going to check and see. Once I start to get a little bit of a burr there, I know that it's getting close to where it's going to stop. And that burr is our indication. So there, you can see right there, it's shaving some more off. And that's exactly what we're looking for. All right, now that I've got that handle worked on with a rasp and got it fit the way I want it. I've got contact all the way around the bottom there. We're gonna set the wedge in there. I've already trimmed it so that it fits the eye, and we're gonna lubricate it with a little bit of boiled linseed oil, and I'm just gonna dribble a little on there, and we're gonna get some on our wedge too here. The nice thing about this linseed oil is that it'll soak into the fibers and make them swell so that fits really good and tight, but unlike water, it won't dry up. So we're going to go ahead and get that started in there, and then I'm going to use my handy dandy chunk of wood for a mallet. Now, I don't want to hit the wedge directly with the hammer because I'm afraid I might split it. So I'm going to spread out the force with my block of wood here. Now that we've got that wedge bottomed out in there, it looks good and tight everywhere. I like the way that looks, so we're going to go ahead and trim that off now, and I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch or so above the axe head. Now that we've got that old head hung on a new handle, I want to protect that handle. So in another video, I'm going to add a leather overstrike protector. So that's all for this one. Thanks for watching. And like I said, if you want to see that leather overstrike protector, keep an eye out for the next one. Have a good one.